Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another edition of Hilaal Live. Thanks for joining us on channel 347. I'm Luqman Shadrack, all the way from the Cape Town studios. I trust you all had a great weekend and keeping safe out there in the some of the bad weather we've been having. I hope that everyone's reached their destination on time and safely. As we do on a Monday, we try and focus on skills development, youth development, and people that are just doing extraordinary work in and around our beautiful country. In studio, I'd like to invite and welcome onto Hilaal Live, Brother Achmat Solomon. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah so much for coming into studio. And you're part of an organization called Youth Mastery. Very fascinating, some great work, and we're going to tell our viewers about that as well. But before we get there, tell us about yourself.
Subhanallah. Alhamdulillah, I've been really fortunate to be under the guidance of Haafith Achmat Solomon, our teacher. I completed my hifz there, alhamdulillah. And then I studied at Darul Naim.
Okay.
And Maulana Ali Kauda. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect him and preserve all of our teachers. And thereafter, alhamdulillah, and it was actually during the time that I was studying it's sometimes difficult, just talking about ourselves or whatever, but I think what's important is sharing a bit about the journey, because that really informed all of the projects that we actually have today.
Okay.
So other than the hifz program, because obviously hifz was a component to my life and my own journey.
Right.
The component of getting to a point where one understands the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that happened for me at my time at Darul Naim. We, by the time I started at Darul Naim, I already completed the memorization of the Quran. However, it's this book that we're reciting, but there's no meaning to it in terms of, I was 16 at the time.
Right.
When I started at Darul Naim, and then alhamdulillah, the program facilitated for me to develop at least a surface level understanding of this is what my Allah is saying to me.
Right.
And that had a massive impact in terms of just the way I see the world and what I wanted out of life, and it had an impact on my behavior. I still got a long way to go, but alhamdulillah, it made a major shift. And there was another program that happened at Darul Naim. Maulana Ali would have every year this Ukhuwa camp, which means brotherhood, right?
Right.
So this camp of brotherhood, and the brothers would go out, and this camp was like just my highlight of the entire year, where the teachers mix with the students in like a really different way compared to how we would be in class. And this left a truly indelible mark on my heart.
Nice.
And the following year, I told my friends who were studying in second year at the time, I said, look here guys, we've got to make this type of thing available for all of our youth. And alhamdulillah, that was really the start of a journey.
Alhamdulillah.
And today, we have alhamdulillah the hifz institution, the afternoon madrasa program, and our youth development program, which started out just as camps and has now grown to the life coaching, the leadership development, the skills training, and all of the holiday programs and all those particular things.
Okay, so lovely journey, and I like how that has molded you to where you are today. And you also started then a company called Youth Mastery. How did that come about? Obviously from the programs you attended at Darul Naim, and then taking it a step further?
Yeah, definitely. Look, alhamdulillah, as we journeyed through it initially, just with the support of our teachers saying, go ahead, we support you guys in all ways, whether it was with the infrastructure, the administration, the finances, all of those particular things. Because we were a group of youth ourselves at the time, trying to put youth programs together for other youth. And this was, I think about 15, 16 years ago.
Okay.
And when we went through this program, alhamdulillah, and then the first camps that we ran, we then started to realize how development happens over time. So yes, impact can happen in a moment, but development truly happens over time. And that's when these summer camps, which started out just as an alternative to what's currently happening in the holidays, we were like, look, let's give a healthy alternative. It then became, so how do we get these youth to present this program to other youth?
Nice.
Because if it's youth presenting to youth, then it becomes much more, effective.
Absolutely.
And that's when the journey came in terms of skills development. So then we developed the program, and that program produced facilitators, and those facilitators are now running the program and even have jobs within the organization. So Youth Mastery came about as a result of understanding that there's obviously a fundraising component to it. And then we started to create a income generating element and a job creation element.
Nice.
So tying all that together, we then started to take the youth that came through the programs and created jobs for them, which in doing those jobs generates income for the projects, and those projects then feed more youth.
Lovely.
And that ecosystem began.
Lovely. I like the concept, and I like that you've identified avenues that can mold our youth into thinking further than what they're exposed to. What are some of the programs that you run within your organization?
So, Alhamdulillah, Youth Mastery is actually a sister organization to another organization which we set up called TTR, which is Transformation Through Revelation. We function from the same center. As a result of the relationship between those companies, we've been able to grow to where we are today, Alhamdulillah. Over the past 4.5 years, so the youth programs we start in many different forms. Like I said, initially it was under Dar Naeem, and we went through different phases, and till eventually we set up as Youth Mastery and TTR in the structure we have. And over the past 4.5 years now, in total, we've employed 29 different Muslims, alhamdulillah ta'ala, that's working within the organization.
Nice.
And so that has really, brought us to where we are today. So there's the Hifz institution, which does exactly what I mentioned in my first part of my journey, where students learn the Quran and they learn to understand what Allah is saying in the Quran.
Nice.
There's an afternoon program, because again, as you're working with youth for more than a decade, we realize the earlier you start, the better.
Right.
So we have a program that starts with youth from 4 or 5 years old already, all the way up in the afternoons as an extracurricular program, and a life skills, life development program. And then through the weekends and the holidays, we have our Youth Mastery program, which involves one-on-one life coaching, leadership development, facilitated training, life coach training. We've just recently completed a batch of 14 life coaches that went through the training and became certified life coaches. Brilliant. That are now earning an income as a result of that program. We have, in collaboration with the Fusion Inyameku Foundation, we have our My Chance Incubator program. That program is one of our flagship programs. Once a week, every week, we pick up youth from Hanover Park, Manenberg, Pontyville, those type of areas. We send transport to pick them up in the area, bring them to a center, give them a meal, provide them with tuition, assist them with their schoolwork, give them life coaching, have some fun, and then take them back every single week. And that has really been one of our flagship programs. And again, the youth that have come through our programs are running all of these programs.
Brilliant.
So I think that's a mouthful, but a bit of what we do.
I think it's amazing. Congratulations on identifying the need that is out there as well. And a young person like yourself, who better to understand what the youth is going through, but also facilitate their growth as well. Over the years, I would imagine that you've conducted many projects, many camps. Take us through a normal camp. What can they expect when somebody comes to one of your camps or one of your programs?
It's always like a joyous, funny moment in the beginning, because with youth, naturally, they somewhat resilient to anything that's attached to growth, development, learning. It's because, especially when they're in that phase of fun and those particular things, right? And a lot of the times we find parents bringing youth to the program, right? So it's like, a mom and a child, like, you're going to this program, I believe it's good for you, you're going to have fun, don't worry, whatever. Yeah. So there's that initial resilience or resistance to wanting to attend these programs. And I often laugh and I tell the parents, don't worry, this is normal, we see it over and over, but you're going to see in 3 days' time. And it's just the most beautiful sight to see youth all gathered, and 60 to 80 to 100 or whatever the number is for the program. Last year in December, we had a beautiful camp that involved 120 youth from the northern suburbs.
Nice.
And anyway, we were bringing the communities together. And when they come, and no one's talking to one another, because I don't know you, you don't know me, you don't know your background, you don't know. So that's the start, right? And as the days go on, as the activities are obviously designed to facilitate for social interaction, teach them how, break those barriers, learn from one another. And then as the days go on into day 2, you see friendships start to form.
Brilliant.
And then on day 3, they are there to, fall for one another, pick one another up, support one another, back one another up. And it's the most beautiful thing, watching lifetime bonds being formed. And, it's one thing to say it, but to witness it, and invite people to give us a call, to come to the center, to get involved in the programs, to come along and see how the youth that are running these programs as a tight unit of like unbreakable brotherhood started when they were 11, 12 years old in our programs 10 years ago, and are now facilitating these programs for other youth. So it goes from that silence and that awkward silence to like the loudest fun and excitement and best version of themselves for like, the duration of the program. And then obviously when they break apart at the end of the program, there's always just that, hope to see one another again and that type of thing.
Brilliant. I'm chatting to Brother Achmat Solomon, part of Youth Mastery, who's part of an organization that empowers youth, teaches them life skills and various other projects as well. We found out so much, but later in the show, I'm going to give out some details so you can get involved and just grow. Where you're a young person, or maybe not so young as well, be involved in the program. You are still watching Hilaal Live. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Hilaal Live. Thanks for watching us on channel 347 on DSTV as we let you know about interesting people, phenomenal people, wonderful people that are doing extraordinary work in and around our beautiful country. In the Western Cape, we've got Achmat Solomon, who's part of Youth Mastery, Solomon, right? Achmat Solomon, part of Youth Mastery, who's just doing amazing work. Ahmed, Jazakallah once again. I mean, the work that you do is phenomenal because it's creating an opportunity for the youth out there to think differently as well. You mentioned that you also have corporates that come to you as well. Tell us about the corporate program. What do you take them through?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So what we found is that, and again, you're saying that, we're doing phenomenal work. It's really the youth and the people in our organization that's doing this phenomenal work, because as with every other youngster that comes through the program and gets involved in the program is able to grow and able to develop.
Nice.
So we've actually grown to a point where we provide corporates with the type of things that sometimes and this is what I want to bring to everyone's attention. Sometimes we think this is important for youth to learn: team building, communication, effective communication, understanding how to work with one another, understanding yourself through understanding others, understanding others, how to be the best version of yourself, and all of these particular things. So what we've actually learned was that, as time passes, if people don't necessarily get this in their journey, they find themselves within a company, within an organization, struggling with things like effective communication, struggling with teamwork, struggling with being able to bring out the best version of themselves, or helping other people be the best version of themselves. So, we range from just end of year functions where we can make sure they have a lot of fun, because obviously with kids planning this whole particular thing, it gets crazy. Yeah. And, sometimes people just want to blow off some steam and have nice event.
Of course.
So that's one option. And then there's the team building options, there's effective communication, there's working as a unit. We've even now gone into, and this is we've been doing now for the last 2 years of our organization, where we do consulting with other startup organizations.
Nice.
And assist them around the startup challenges, those particular things. And we provide coaching for the leadership staff, the leadership structures, and there's quite a bit that goes with that. But my point is that we've actually mirrored what we do with youth and repackaged it to be effective in everyday life for corporates, organizations, and people that want to perform on a better level.
What's the response like when somebody first starts your program, be it youth or somebody a bit older, to when they complete the program? I mean, chat to me about some of the responses you've received.
I think the most important thing, when you're saying when they start to when they complete, the telltale factor for all of that is that they never leave.
Wow.
So, parents start in a coaching journey, right? And again, since we're here and I have the opportunity, I'm telling parents, it's okay to look for help on how to get the most out of your child, or how to overcome a challenge, or how to get past certain roadblocks that you find yourself in. Because, there's a saying, they say that it takes a nation to raise a child. That is so true. And when parents are sitting with that pressure to just try and figure things out on their own, it becomes difficult, it becomes tough. So, with working hand in hand, we're actually able to, produce that. So a parent comes for coaching, for example, and ends up making it part of the parenting process.
Nice.
And 3, 4, 5 years down the line is still coming regularly for weekly coaching, once a month, whatever the frequency they're able to manage. That's one such thing. And even organizations experiencing the growth that they do under our mentorship and under our assistance in terms of, their journey.
Yeah.
They stay alongside and they keep coming, and they have we start forming collaborations, we start working together.
Nice.
And like I say, we have a concept at Youth Mastery where we say, and at TTR where we say we only have a front door. There's no, we only have a door for entry.
Right.
There's no exit door. When you enter, you're part of the family. Let's see where and how you can plug in. Like one of the kids that came through the program started working with acupuncture and all of those particular things, and starting a little bit of a practice. And we were discussing the other day how this type of therapy and treatment can work with certain parts of what we're doing within, whether it's our childhood homes projects that we are collaborating with other organizations. But it's like it's creating, and that's why I used the word earlier, an ecosystem. So the results has really been that people remain part of the family one way or the other. Either they continue to utilize our services, or they become part of the family by providing services as well.
So with everything that we've discussed, that you've been through and currently going through as well, what's your vision? What's your mission of the company?
Our ultimate goal is to share the message that our best existence lies within our coexistence. And the best version of ourselves we will find when we work together. And that has really been the story. I often make a joke with the youth at work there, and I say, you guys do all the hard work, I go sit on TV and take credit for it, right? And we joke about it and we laugh about it, but that's the reality. Because the more youth that have gotten involved, the more parents that have gotten involved, the more businesses that have gotten involved, coming on board saying, you know what, we'll cover meals for the orphans, or we'll cover meals for the kids from this particular program, or we'll sponsor the transport. And the more that have come on board, the bigger our reach has become. And we've really seen, alhamdulillah, I've been doing this now this is my 11th year, formally doing it, and working with youth, and working with parents, and working with anybody that has, initially we were just focused on youth, and then we realized that we need to work with the parents to get better results.
The support structure.
100%. And then we started working with schools and adding, complementary programs to what's happening. Because what's happening from a negative perspective or challenging perspective is being far outweighed, by the little bit in terms of what we're trying to do with the education and a growth perspective. So we come in support of that. We're saying, as a school, you guys are doing amazing, let's add to that. As parents, you guys are doing amazing, let's add to that. And that facilitates for, companies to get on board and people to get on board. So our mission and our vision is really to bring everyone together for a better existence for our youth today and our leaders of tomorrow.
Have you partnered with government, with other stakeholders, with these type of outreach programs?
Not with government as yet. We were discussing it. In fact, one of our partner organizations, Fusion in Jamaica Foundation, they've partnered with government, and we were discussing some of the structures around it and the potential for us to do that as well.
Inshallah.
However, we found that just the amount of organizations that we come in contact with, be it formal or informal, and why I'm saying informal is we'll come into an overpark, for example, and we'll find an uncle that's living there that's just looking after these 30 kids.
Amazing.
And it doesn't matter. He's a non-Muslim uncle. There's some kids over there that's Muslim. Religion isn't the factor. It's humanity. It's humanity.
I agree.
And that's our message, that we wanna have a better existence in that regard. So we've partnered with a number of different organizations. In fact, Youth Mastery is part of the Ahlul Badr, which is one of 5 organizations.
Okay.
Where again, just the unity keeps growing. One of them is Fusion in Jamaica Foundation. There's the TTR, which I've mentioned was already a start to that unity. There's Commer Institute, and then there's Jannah Training.
Okay.
And all of those organizations that I've mentioned now we've partnered with before. And then informally partnering with other organizations as well, such as DTI, Darut Turath Al-Islami, who's currently in the phase of purchasing a massive property, which I believe is going to serve our community in such an amazing way. So the relationships that are being built at the moment are not governmental per se, but more just what is already existing in our community, who's trying, and let's continue trying together.
Brilliant. What's in store? A couple of minutes left. What's in store for Youth Mastery in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think that big growth. I hope that soon we're actually looking at purchasing our own premises.
Okay.
Where we can have facilities that are set up. The current structure of the organization is that we rent certain campsites and those particular things that we use.
Right.
So our vision is to have one of our own that can serve our organization and all of the other organizations that are currently, because I mean to rent a campsite or to rent a venue, to run these programs sometimes costs so much, and startup organizations don't necessarily have that, and then it's one of the big stumbling blocks. So we'd like to have that to continue our programs and grow our programs and be a means of support for others, because we struggled around those type of things. Even to grow logistically, having our transport, more transport available means we can go fetch those kids who can't come.
Brilliant.
So I think what's in store for us is really to just keep growing, to keep pushing, to grow faster, to get more youth involved, to create more jobs. And each and every one of you can really truly be a part of it.
Brilliant. Ahmed, Jazakallah so much for coming into studio. Really appreciate your time, all the efforts, and may all your projects grow from strength to strength, inshallah.
Ameen.
How do people get hold of you very quickly if they would like to?
So easiest form, I think everybody just enjoys WhatsApp nowadays. Drop us a WhatsApp on 064 908 0022 or visit our website or Instagram page, Youth Mastery, and you can catch all of our information over there, whether it's a youngster trying to enroll or a parent looking for assistance or school needing some help or corporate looking for a service. Just touch base with us and let's build from there.
Inshallah. All the very best to you. Have a wonderful evening, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
And that's how we end our first part of Hilaal Live with Achmat Solomon from Youth Mastery. Do go and check them out if you are very interested in following one of their programs or being part of that as well. After the break, we link up with Fusion in Ameko to find out a bit more about the Nasheed competition, the primary school competition that's coming up over the weekend, inshallah. You are still tuned in and watching Hilaal Live.